In this lessons, we are going to learn how to determine the chemical formula of ionic compounds from a pair of ions, a positive and a negative ions. Well, we need to follow the specific format. First of all, we always put the positive ions first, followed by the negative ions. Then we have to combine in a way that we make the negative and the positive charges cancel each other out. And that's the tricky part. We're going to cover that later. And one of the common methods that we use if the charges doesn't cancel each other out is we use the crisscross methods, which we just carry down the number only. We ignore the charges, okay? Only the number. And if there are more than one of the polyatomic ions, we're going to use parentheses to group them together. So let's try an example problem. Here, determine a compound made from two ions below. We have sodium ions and hydroxide ions. And notice how the positive first, followed by the negative. So we're good. So what we're going to do is this. Well, is the net charge equal to 0? Well, we have positive 1 right here and a negative 1. That already cancel each other out already. So we are pretty much done. Now all we have to rewrite them together as a chemical formula. And all we have to do is this, NaOH. And that's it. Well, if we look at the answer formats, right? Type normally, that means we just type normally. But if there is an exponent or a superscript, we have to use the caret symbol. In this case, we don't have to. Let's try another problem. In this case, we have hydroxides and calcium 2+. Are they in the right order? No. Remember, positive always first, followed by negative. So we had to rewrite in a way that positive go first. So we have calcium 2+, followed by hydroxide, which is OH-. And that's the right order. But the tricky part now is that, look at this, we have 2+ and we have a minus. That doesn't cancel out to equal to 0, okay? So how many more of the minus do we need? How many more of hydroxide do we need to cancel out the 2+? Well, we already have one minus ready. We need another one. So we need another OH-. And now, what we're going to have? We're going to have two OH-. So we rewrite this. But before we do any rewriting, I'm going to show you the crisscross methods. In this case, I'm going to rewrite over again. Ca2+. And we have OH-, okay? And we know that right here, it must be number 1. And we do the crisscross method. It's pretty easy. We carry down and we crisscross. And that represents how many of the particular ions are we going to have for the other one. So in this case, the crisscross of 1, that tells us we have 1 calcium. But over here, we have a 2. We crisscross and carry down the number. In this case, how many hydroxide, which are... In this case, how many hydroxide are we going to have? OH-. Well, that's going to be 2. So we have OH. Because this is a polyatomic ions, we have to use parentheses to group them together. In this case, I have to group it together with the parentheses right there. And how many do we have? 2. And when we type in our answer, we just type in normally CaOH2. Just keep in mind that this 2 is this one right here, and we don't type in any ones. But if we look back at this, notice how we have 2 hydroxide, right, and 1 calcium, the same thing. We have 1 calcium, so we don't use any subscript right here, and 2 hydroxide, we have to group them together and indicate there are 2 of them, right there. And that's the difference between the crisscross methods and the common sense methods. Let's try another one. In this case, the same process, we have fluoride ions and we have calcium ions. Are they in the same order? No. Positive always first. So remember, positive first followed by negative. So let's rewrite this. We have calcium 2+ and we have fluoride minus, or specifically 1-. If this is 2+ and this is 1-, how many more minus do I need? Well, of course, I need another minus. And that would give me 2- total. So we have CaF2. Well, so we have 1 calcium. And how many fluoride ions do I have? 1, 2. So we have to use 2. In this case, this doesn't require parentheses because we just have 1 element there. If there are two of them, we have to group them together. Now let's try the crisscross methods. We have Ca2 plus F1 minus. Crisscross, carry that down. We have 1 calcium, and crisscross, carry it down. That represents we have 2 fluorine. 2. So we have 2 fluoride ions. In this case, we have Ca1F2. The same answer that we got before, isn't it? So our answer is CaF2. We just type in normally because we don't have the ability to type in the subscript. But that's okay. The whole point is we can check your answer. Now let's try another problem. We have NO3 minus, which is nitrate ions, and we have calcium 2 plus. Ooh, why we keep using calcium? But the same process, this is negative, this is positive, so we have to rewrite that the positive always go first. So we have Ca2 plus, plus go first, followed by the negative, so NO3 minus. Now let's go back and use the common sense methods again. We have 2 plus here, we have 1 minus. So how many more of this do I need to balance out or to cancel out with that 2 plus? Of course I need one more, NO3 minus. So our answer would be CaNO3. But how many NO3 do we have? We have 2 of NO3, right? So we have to use the parentheses to group them together. You see how that works? So our answer, if we type in normally, CaNO3, and of course, and then there will be a 2. But our answer in reality, when we write in our answer, it looks like this. This only allows us to check for the answer. Now let's try the crisscross methods. We have Ca2 plus, NO3 minus. Well, let's crisscross. There's a 1 right there. We crisscross and carry down. That tells us we have 1 calcium. But if we crisscross and carry this down, we have 2 of this whole entire thing. So therefore we have Ca1. And again, we had to use parentheses because this has more than one element in it. It's a group that work together as one single unit. And there are 2 of it. And that's our answer. Let's try the last one together. In this case, we have sulfate and we have calcium again. But again, this is negative and this is positive, so we have to rewrite that the positive always go first. And SO4 2 minus. And look at this, 2 plus and 2 minus. They cancel each other out already, so we don't have to do anything. So we just need one of each. So we have calcium SO4. And why don't I need parentheses here? Because there is only one SO4. And that is our answer. But in terms of writing in our answer, we have CaSO4. That is how we type in the calculator. But this is how we write on our paper.